What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome to episode 32 of our Liverpool FC playthrough here in Football Manager 2016. Hopefully you guys are good. Today we've got a big game. It's against Manchester United. It's been about a month and a half since the last episode. I dabbled with the thought of doing the Brentford game. I decided not to because we are going to have quite a few big games coming up immediately after this one. But for today's game we're just going to be doing the Manchester United derby. So anyway, looking at the results, last episode we beat Barcelona. If you missed that, spoilers, definitely go check it out. It was a sick game and it was a great performance by our team. Since then, as you can see, we've played 8 games in total. We've got 7 wins and 1 draw. Really taken the momentum from that Barcelona game and really kind of applied it. We've been playing against kind of slightly weaker opposition during this kind of run of form, I guess. A lot of the games were very winnable. Perhaps the draw against Derby we can feel slightly unlucky about, but we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, the first result following the Barcelona game against Hull, a Daniel Sturridge goal. We won 1-0 against Hull. It could have been 20. Well, maybe not, but it could have been a lot more. As you can see here, we had 38 shots, 19 on target. We were all over Hull in that game. Probably deserved a little bit more. The next game against Southampton, you can see Southampton here. They've been tailing off a little bit in the league, but we did well here. We beat them 3-1. Goetze, Kovacic and Henderson with the goals for us. Rodriguez did get a consolation for them in the second half, but the game was already kind of done by that point. As you can see, Coutinho did get injured. That was a big problem for us. He's been out for a while, not 100% fit for this game today, but he will be on the bench. The next result was in the Champions League, and it was one of 2 games against Legia during this run of results. Again, a game that we dominated, didn't exactly have a crazy goal-scoring threat, and in the end, Joe Gomez's lone goal was the difference maker. This guy, he's played 2 games, or in fact, he's played now 4 games for England, and I do quite like Joe Gomez. My only worry is that I don't feel like he's kind of an amazing centre-back, and I don't think he's an amazing wing-back. He's kind of a useful player for us to have, but he doesn't really excel in any of the positions that we would want to play him in. Obviously, we have Klein and Moreno at fullback, and then we have Sacco and Zuma at centre-back. He just doesn't really fit in. So maybe a player I might look to sell on. With his caps for England, his value is going to inflate a little bit, so that might be something to keep an eye on. But in this game, he did get the key goal. The next result was a 1-1 draw against Derby County. As you can see here, Goetze getting a goal for us before Weimann pegged us back 15 minutes before the death. Looking at the stats, Derby had 2 shots on goal. We were well and truly FM'd this game. We had some real chances that we should have taken. I think Cataldi had quite a memorable miss before I took him off in the 85th minute. But I can't complain too much because that is the only time we've dropped points so far in this run of results. Anyway, the next game was against Brentford. We had a few of our former players playing against us in this game, including Joe Allen and Danny Ings. Neither of them really made an impact. We ran out 2-0 winners. Really good to see 2 younger players getting on the score sheet here. Bazor got on the goal scoring kind of sheet. He was actually playing at centre-back for this game. Got his goal from a corner. But he's been doing well, the Dutch international, developing a fair bit, which is good to see. The other goal scorer was Briel Mbolo, who's actually, because he's been on the decline a little bit of late, nothing that I'm too worried about. He's been doing okay this season, not getting a ton of goals really, but he's not been a bad performer by any means. And he got a goal there that was kind of important. Anyway, 3 more games to tell you guys about, and we won one of these 3-0. It was against Swansea. Good performance. Goetze and Sturridge with the goals. Then in the Champions League, we played Legia again. This time we won 2-0. And Bolo with a goal. Yuri Tillemans getting a goal too in the 93rd minute. This guy playing a lot of first-team football, hoping that he's going to be developing. As you can see, making quite a few appearances off the bench really, but he's been performing fairly well in all of those games, and he's a player who has loads of room to develop, and I'm going to continue to kind of persist, I guess, with him in the first team because game time is what he needs to truly develop. Anyway, the last game in this run of results was against Huddersfield. It was a good win, pretty dominant. Probably we should have won by some more, but I'll take the win nevertheless. And yeah, we won 2-1 at the John Smith Stadium. So looking at the league here, we sit in 3rd place. We have our game in hand today against Manchester United. If we win it, we'd go 2nd in the league. Tottenham are 1 point ahead of us. Arsenal 4 points ahead. Looking at the goal difference, Arsenal's is definitely the best in the league. Ours is on par with Tottenham's. We've been doing pretty well. As I mentioned, there's been a few games in this little run of result where I'd potentially like to get a few more goals, but we've just not been too clinical. So anyway, looking at today's game, we've got quite a lot of injuries. It's not going to be an easy kind of time. Lacazette has really been struggling for goals of late. I think he's on a dry spell anyway, but he was out injured for 11 days with a damaged shoulder. So he missed a few games there. But you can see Daniel Sturridge currently out injured. He is out for 2 months with a hip injury. So now we really, really need Lacazette to step up to the plate. I'm a little bit disappointed that Daniel Sturridge has got injured. But at the same time, I knew he was injury prone. I knew that was potentially going to be a problem, and it just happens to be that it is a problem. I mentioned Coutinho's injury against Southampton. Not fully fit, not even going to have him on the bench for today's game. He's had a knee injury, so we'll let him recover from that. Mario Götze is out for 3 to 6 days, so he misses this big game against United. And we also have Cataldi out injured for 5 to 7 weeks. So we do have some fairly big injuries to some first-team players there. And it's been not an easy run of results, because we've done well in them. But it's not been as comfortable as perhaps it would have been if we'd had our full squad at our disposal. So anyway, we are playing United today. United have really been struggling in the league. If we look at them, they are down in 13th place with 4 wins, 3 draws and 5 defeats. I'm hoping we can add to their list of defeats and get a win here. Next episode will be the Champions League game against Napoli. That's actually going to be a big one. Of course, we beat Legia in both of our games against them. We're currently top of the group because we have a better head-to-head record against Barcelona. A win against Napoli next episode would guarantee ourselves qualification for the next round of the Champions League. So anyway, let's get into today's game. Looking at Manchester United, they've got Jordi Alba suspended, Rojo's out with a slip disc, Rafinha's out with a damaged cruciate ligament, and they also have 5 players unregistered. I assume they are youth players. Looking at it, we are favourites for the game. Results today, they've kind of gone in our favour in terms of Spurs slipping up, Arsenal ran away dominant victors, and City doing well as well. You can see City and Chelsea currently equal on points with us, but they've obviously played that extra game. But it is really, really tight at the top of the table. There's really, between Villa and Arsenal, there's only 5 points between the top 6 teams. It could be anyone's at this moment in time. So we will submit our team. I'm confident that we can do something here. Looking at our squad, I think this is the team we're going to go with. We've got Mignolet, Alberto, Moreno, Sacco, Zuma and Clyde. Midfield of Henderson, Maya, Bazor. Kovacic is going to play centre attacking mid with Lacazette and Firmino playing on ahead. So we are a little bit kind of lacking in the striker department, I guess, with Sturridge's injury. We have got the likes of Gabigol and Mbolo on the bench, so we've got goals there. We've got Tielemans and Witsel, who are really good creative players. And of course, we have Gomez and Rudiger on the bench. Rudiger, a player who, he's been quite a useful player for us. He's not played as much as I expected to. For £11 million, perhaps we've overpaid, but he's 24. He's a fantastic backup centre-back. And he's a really useful player to have because he can more than make up for, I guess, Sacco and Zuma if either of them get injured or either of them need a break. He's kind of there. Anyway, looking at it here, is that the Pedro? Wow, okay. Manchester United with Pedro up front alongside Harry Kane, Blind and Darmian at fullback, Jones, Smalling and Murillo making up a back 3. So it's kind of a fairly unchanged United squad, really. I guess Murillo and Pedro and Kane are the big changes there. Hopefully we can get a result though. As I mentioned, they've been struggling. It'd be interesting to see what would happen to Manchester United if they really struggled this season. I mean, after 13 games, they're in 13th. But I wonder if they could, I don't know. I wonder if there's a downward spiral that could kind of descend from here, I guess, if they struggled. It'd be interesting to see what might happen to the likes of Harry Kane and Pedro, players who I have been keeping my eye on, particularly Harry Kane as maybe a striker that I'd like to get my hands on if possible. Maybe not qualifying for the Champions League this year might be an opportunity. We have a chance and it's saved twice. I think Lacazette should have done better with the rebound there, really. I think it was an initial shot by Firmino, who's playing up front today. But De Gea with a fantastic save. De Gea, one of the best goalkeepers, of course, in Football Manager this year. But yeah, at the moment, it's 0-0. We're dominating in terms of shots, which is nice. Possession, we've got almost 60%. United, though, they are playing with kind of 5 at the back and 3 centre-backs, so they're going to be difficult to break down. But Firmino has just scored and says, you know what, Jack, it might not be that difficult today after all. Moreno with the ball in. That was a nicely worked little kind of set-piece routine from the throw-in. Ball got whipped in really well. Damn, it's dark today. Why is that so dark? Well, we are still in the beta. I mean, he's volleyed that in. I don't know if you've been able to see what happened there. Someone turned off the lights at Anfield today, apparently. I might have to just skip the 3D highlights, I'm afraid, because you can't see anything. Looking at it, Pedro is a danger, keeps finding space. Let's tell our players just to close him down. It's not often I listen to my assistant's advice here. Sometimes I probably should do it a little bit more. Anyway, looking at the stats, we're playing pretty well here. 30 minutes in, United with just 2 shots on goal. We've had, of course, 1 clear-cut chance. We've had lots of shots too, and we are ahead on the score sheet. And with 40 minutes gone, it's going to be 1-0. And it looks like this is going to be how it stays until the break, unless there's going to be a late chance, which there might be here. Henderson, Bazor, out wide to Klein. Can he whip in another ball of quality? We've scored 1 from across. Bazor, edge of the box. Cleared away though. Zuma though, fantastic tackle. Kurt Zuma really emerged as one of our key players this year. Lacazette, almost on the end of it there. And now Sacco with a fantastic interception. Defensively, we look great here. Lacazette, whip it in Meissen. He can do. Oh, it's cleared away. Bazor hits it in. Edge of the box. Richelli Bazor, his 2nd goal of the season. It's 2-0. What a first half this has been. We performed great. 60% possession. Now it's gone pitch black. I'm going to just skip the highlights because it's not worth looking at that. That's a very bizarre issue. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players I'm pleased with how things are going. They are loving it. It's been a fantastic half, this game. We are looking like the better side by far. United, they've been struggling this year, but I'd love to commentate against United. Obviously, massive derby in the northwest. Liverpool v Manchester United. And, well, it looks like we could be running away victors. But we learnt from the Arsenal game a few episodes ago not to get too carried away just yet. So I'm going to keep my head on just a little bit. As Harry Kane has a chance. Pedro, that was offside. Was it offside? It wasn't. I might have just cursed myself. It's 2-1. United, immediately after the break, score within the first 2 minutes. It was a matter ball to Kane, and then Kane just fed through Pedro. And, well, it's Nathaniel Klein who's played Pedro onside, and Mignolet unable to make a save. Although it's at least now the pitch is bright again, so that's something. We've got the what would you call it? The floodlights working. But we do need to bounce back. Klein, what a run down the line. Herrera's just absolutely poleaxed him. That was a disgusting tackle. Even in 2D, I could tell that was horrific. And he's been sent off for it. Wow. Well, that escalated quickly this second half. We're 2 minutes into the second half. There's been a goal and a red card. And now we have another chance maybe. Henderson to Zuma. Kurt Zuma already scored a few this year. Bazor, Moreno, cuts inside. It deflects. And, well, De Gea keeps hold of it. But it's 2-1. And it's been a bit of a crazy start to this second half. United a man down. We should be really dominating this game now. I'd like us to get another goal so that kind of worry, I guess, of being hit on the break is somewhat put to the back of my mind. But looking at it, it's 2-1 at the moment. 25 minutes left. I was concerned lack of goals might be a problem. It's not looking like it's going to be at the moment. Looking at the average ratings, Maya not have the best game. I'm going to bring on Witsel. I think we're going to move Henderson to defensive mid. And then bring on... In fact, no, we're going to move Henderson to Roman playmaker and play Bazor as the midfield, centre mid defend. He's a little bit better defensively. So we'll go with that. I'm also going to bring on, I think, Gabriel Barbosa. I'm going to bring him on for Lacazette, who's not had the best game. 6.7 average rating. As I mentioned, not been in the best form. Still coming back from an injury. So that's worth kind of, I guess, taking into account. So we'll take him off here. And, well, Barbosa's been injured, and that was a very quick injury. I'm hoping that's not going to be long term, particularly after the Daniel Sturridge injury that's at 2 months. You know, we really need Barbosa in our side. Otherwise, we're really going to be down to Firmino, Lacazette, and Embolo when it comes to our strike force. And perhaps we'd be a little bit lacking there. There's 10 minutes left. I hope we can hold on for a win here. It's 2-1. We've been dominating the game since that red card, really. Not a lot happening here. We've used all our subs. We have a set piece. Ball whipped in. Kurt Zuma's there. Luke Shaw heads away. Briel Embolo. A player who might need to step up to the plate if the injuries are a problem. And wow, De Gea trying to keep United in this game. A great chance there. I think it was Firmino with the initial shot saved away. 6 minutes left. Henderson, that is a fantastic ball. Can he pull it across? He can't. He fluffs his lines. He puts it wide, but time is slipping away here. Just 2 minutes left plus any extra time. 3 minutes of extra time. 2-1. Not the worst result in the world. Given... Oh, okay. Well, let's make it 3-1. Why not? Briel Embolo scores 20 seconds after the full-time whistle. Debatably should have gone. It's a nice ball in by Henderson. and Embolo on the near post just to place it in. It's a nice finish there. And 3-1, well, that feels a little bit more convincing perhaps. A really good goal, really good performance. Pretty pleased with how this game's gone. Maybe would have liked to get a few more goals given the red card, but it's a win nevertheless against one of our big rivals in a game that we've absolutely dominated, and it kind of keeps us, I guess, in that title race. There was a risk, if we lost this game, Arsenal go 4 points clear. Obviously, it's still very early days in the season, but you never want to be kind of beyond 3 points behind the teams at the top, particularly when winning the league is an aspiration that you're perhaps going for. Anyway, looking at the Barbosa injury, he's going to be out for 2 months. That's really bad luck. So that's going to be a pain. We're going to have to look to adapt around that, I imagine. If we just look at it here, you can see Gertz is out injured. He could play as a striker. Granted, he's going to be back fairly soon, so he could be an option there. Then we've got Barbosa, Lacazette, and Embolo, Sturridge, and then really Firmino when it comes to our strike force. So to have two of our big strikers really injured is a bit of a pain, but we'll try and adapt around it. I just remembered there's one player I've been looking to sign. In fact, no, there's two players I've signed. I've spent... so I should explain, you can see our transfer budget and wage budget are really high all of a sudden. The reason for that being is, of course, our financial balance was really good, and I got a news item basically saying that our transfer budget had been increased. I'll see if I can find that email. It was probably halfway through the month, or halfway through last month, so it's probably gone by now. But basically, we got our transfer budget increased because of our healthy financial position, which was really pleasing. I'm not going to be trying to spend all of it, but there's a few players who I am looking to bring in, with this extra money. The first of which is Huisman. We'll go with that. This guy is a Dutch centre-back, but he can also play midfield. As you can see, quite good passing and quite good vision for a centre-back. Maybe a good ball-playing player. Not the fastest on the pitch. We signed him from Ajax for £10 million. He's been a player I've been having my eye on for a while, and he came available finally. But you can see here he looks like a pretty good player. Lots of strengths. Fully understands English, which is nice. Can play a few positions. Can improve a lot in the future. Looks like he could be an absolutely incredible kind of either defender or midfielder. I've not quite decided where. The other transfer that I'm trying to get in is this guy, Barata. He is a Brazilian goalkeeper. He looks really good, this guy, 19 years old, playing regular first team football for Sao Paulo as their #1 goalkeeper. Perhaps overpaying for him a little bit, but looking at his match report, you can see potential to be a Premier League player in the future, probably in a position to suit Premier League football. He's only 19, would likely loan him out so he gets more regular first team football. Aim centricity, perhaps a little bit high. If you don't know, that's an attribute that makes them do crazy stuff. The way I like to phrase it is it's the likelihood of your goalkeeper doing a scorpion kick. But it's a little on the high side, but we'll work around that. I think he's going to be a good player. Not the fastest, but for a player who's 19, his raw shot stopping ability is just absolutely incredible and something that we can certainly work on. Perhaps his distribution and aerial ability aren't the best, but as I said, 19, loads of time to develop. Interested to see how he could get on. He's waiting on a work permit. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode. Next game and next episode will be against Napoli, so that will be a shorter one. We're taking them on in the Champions League. It's a chance for us to secure our spot in the knockout round, which is our expectations for the season. I'm hoping we can do that. Last time we played Napoli, we did lose 5-3, however, so it might be a little bit trickier than perhaps I'd like it to be. Anyway, that is going to wrap up this video, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash the like button. It does help me out. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.